Okay, so this brings us to the topic of the worry about whether or not we're believing in ourselves in acting. We don't need to believe in ourselves. Honestly, what we need to do is believe in the other actor. Look, I'm Simon Blake. I've studied over 8,000 acting classes. Yes, classes, all kinds of people, hundreds and hundreds of names. And honestly, it doesn't make any difference. There's so much facets. The facets of you are your ability is to, you're going to want to get the emotion activated within your acting work. Forget about belief. Look, your belief is going to be changing throughout the scene. Your ability to get the emotion into interaction is going to be your focus. Your focus is to be able to get the ability of having anything that you're able to self-activate within your emotional preparation. I like to call it emotional activation. You've got to activate your emotion as the last step. Otherwise, it's not going to do much for you. But you activate the emotion's activated in you, and then you want to be able to get receive. Now, receiving is believing. So you don't want to worry about believing in yourself. You want to believe in the other actor. Now, it is your 100% job to do everything you can to believe the other actor is really in the presence of the scene, that they're actually fully taken in the moment. And even when you see that they're not, you want to try and help them to do it. That is going to increase what's going to be a trust level between yourself and the other actor. The trust level is going to be really interesting, because the more you're able to support the other actor, the more you're supported yourself. It's the strangest thing, but it's the true thing. It's also true in relationships. The more you're able to support the other person, the more support you have yourself, even when you're not trying to do that. So it's a phenomena within life that then carries over into acting. So your belief isn't about whether or not you shouldn't worry about whether or not you're believable in terms of the cameras, or in terms of the director, or in terms of whomever you're working with, or the other actor. You want to focus on whether or not are you receiving. If you're receiving the other actor, then you're believing the other actor. So this is why when I work with acting, I suggest 100% to warm up yourself. You're going to warm up. You're going to put yourself in a place where you've stretched a little bit emotionally. You stretch a little bit emotionally. It's not completely pouring out, your emotions. There's a book that I've written, layered acting techniques. There's simmering acting techniques. There's the ability, there's all kinds of things, ways to be able to pinch out emotion. You could do it from past memory. You could use it, some imaginary ingredients that you're able to work off of, that somehow spark the ability to activate. And a lot of times it will come down to activating your compassion, your vulnerability, the ability to activate an open state of being. All of that's true. So you're working to be able to warm yourself up. Do you warm yourself up? You're not worried. Your focus isn't going to be on whether or not the other actor would believe you or not. The focus is on whether or not you've warmed yourself up emotionally, with your feelings, with your deep feelings, and with your emotions and deep emotions, where you've got yourself where when you receive them, that you have somewhere inside of yourself to put them. So you're warming yourself up in this incredible way where you're actually creating what I call, within the acting interaction, within an acting scene, I call it a vacuum. You want to create the vacuum effect, a vacuum of interest. So on your level as yourself, when you're doing your preparation, your actor preparation, you want to be able to warm up your emotion, and that emotion is going to be warmed up in a way that you are developing a place within yourself for the other to be received into, which is technically, this is what and why I break down the 900 or 800 emotions in acting. So there's 800 emotions, 700, 800 emotions that I recommend for actors to learn. It's an emotional preparations book, 3 books. And you're able to then isolate every single one of those emotions. Now, you're going to have to work lightly through this enough to be able to, not overdo too many emotions at once. but you want to be able to get into the specific resonance and frequency of that emotion. What you're doing is you're warming that area up within yourself. It could be compassion, it could be regret, it could be shame. And you're warming up that area of yourself where you've got some expansiveness happening within your body cavity. That's what's going to be able to allow you to forget anything in your head. You forget anything about if anybody believes you, if you are worried about the other actor, if you're worried about nerves. All of that's just going to completely leave you once you get into your emotion. Your emotion is going to be there, and it's going to be warmed up in a vacuum cavity. The vacuum cavity is going to be in a situation where you're going to come into the acting scene and you're going to literally have nothing else you have to do except for focus on the other actor and receive them. And now what you've done is through your own processes, which you tweak and you learn how to be able to maneuver and mold. Tweaking would be a way to mold the ability to mold yourself enough to be able to create the emptiness. You're creating almost an emptiness that's inside of yourself, which the other person's going to fill. Then all you have to do is receive them. And then you receive them, and then you've got something. So you're not bouncing off. They're not bouncing off of any kind of arrogance that you have, or any kind of. And we all have arrogance. Everybody has arrogance, or maybe something, just an ill happenstance where the emotion from the other gets released to you, and you somehow deflect it one way or another. That happens all the time in acting, but you're actually doing the work to be able to get the emotion warmed up enough where there's a bit of a sponge now. You're a sponge for the other person to be able to express into. And that alone is going to create what I call that acting vacuum. And that's going to be able to really supersede your acting work. Thanks a lot, guys.